Hello friends, today we will discuss about the topic coal crisis in India, which is really an important topic. So let's start with the topic. First of all, we will see how big is the present coal crisis in India. So let's get the details. India has placed under a total lockdown for 6 months and a partial lockdown for 7 to 8 months. As we all know, various industries were completely shut down as a result of the lockdowns. However, once the state and the federal governments eased limitations on the restarting of numerous industries and enterprises, these sectors began to open. The abrupt and massive reopening of sectors of the economy resulted in a massive need for power and energy in the nation. So this is the present crisis in coal crisis in India. Next, we will see the next part. How is the coal crisis a concern for India? Why actually? Why is the coal crisis a concern for India? So we will see the reason. In India, coal is regarded as the primary source of electricity and accounts for over 70% of its electricity consumption. Despite being among the world's greatest producer of coal, India purchases a massive amount of coal from Indonesia, Australia, and South Africa to fulfill its power needs. Many states, including Punjab, Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh, Bihar, and Tamil Nadu, have acknowledged to a power shortage. So this is the crisis. This is why coal crisis is a concern. These are the reasons for why these are the reasons the concern of India, the coal crisis, made the coal crisis. So let's go to the next part. We'll see what are the possible reasons for this coal crisis. First of all, a sudden surge in power demand. Second, unfavorable weather conditions. Inadequate stock of coal, inability to import from abroad. Now we will see the first, a sudden surge in power demand. So first of all, we will see that the first possible that the first reason of this crisis, the sudden surge of power demand. During the second wave of the corona, the government and companies in India were extremely optimistic because we know the condition of the first wave of corona, how we have to suffer for it. So this time government make themselves really extremely optimistic. Since the coal accounts for the majority of the India's electricity needs, there is a huge pressure on coal production and mining. The mismatch between a coal demand and supply produced a catastrophic scenario. So all thing this made this catastrophic scenario. Now we will see the unfavorable weather conditions. And India really have a sometimes really have a massive weather conditions which really cause destructive to the nature. So let's see in details. We already have a heavy rainfalls and floods have led to the lowest record of coal productions, and in the year of 2020 and 2021 are predicted to be the worst affected by corona and other natural disasters like destructive storms such as Amphan, Tokte, Gulab, these are all the things made this crisis. So next we will see the inadequate stock of coal. So let's see. Some sectors of the energy and mining sectors have less than 4 days worth of coal on hand to deal with potential crisis according to the latest figure from the US Department of Energy. Some are considerable worse with fewer than 4.5 days worth of supplies. So we will see now the next part. Inability to import from abroad due to the financial crisis and the economic crisis. Basically we are and due to the pandemic situation our economic conditions has gone down. Now India is experiencing an energy crisis due to the significant disparity between demand and the availability. The price of coal has risen to the point we all know that India cannot afford to maintain importing in large quantities to fulfill its electricity needs. This is causing the power crisis in general and the coal crisis in particular. So we will see now how can this problem of the coal crisis can be solved. First of all, we can solve we have a short-term solution to solve the coal crisis and we have a long-term solution to solve the coal crisis. Now we will see in details what are the short-term solutions we can get and what are the long-term solution we can get. So let's see. First we will start with a short-term solution. And in the short-term solution, short scheduled power cut to save for future. We all have experiences from our young age, in our young age, that some short-term power cuts we actually in India all have experienced this. Now also it's frequent, but we experience such things. So we all know what are this. So let's see in details. Power plants in Punjab are preparing 3-hour daily power outage. Power companies in Rajasthan have resorted to daily power outage of 1 hour to avoid total blackout in the days. And these other states and many other states have such schemes, and Bengal also used to have it, but nowadays it doesn't have doesn't short-term power cut in daily basis. Sometimes we experience after the festive season this short-term power cuts, but nowadays it's really frequent in Bengal. But it's really a good process to avoid a total blackout in the days ahead. State administration have organized limited and pre-scheduled power cuts. And now we will see the next point, urging people to minimize electricity use as much as possible. We really urge people for this as much possible. We should minimize our uses of electricity for our future. It's not quite as dependable as it is one of the short-term solution in the blackout scenario. It is possible that reducing unneeded power consuming activities will provide some comfort. It's a short time, but we can try this. We must minimize our use of electricity. So let's see the long term now we will see the long term solution to solve this crisis. First of all, we have the most efficient solution in that is long term solution, solar energy. It's really a helpful thing and expensive also, and it expensive, but still we can afford it. It's not unaffordable. India's global standing would benefit greatly if it switched to solar energy like an alternative. It's really a good alternative. Nothing can be better than this. Solar energy is among the finest renewable sources. It is actually non-polluting and can replace harmful fuels also, such as coal and other harmful fuels. Since solar energy is abundant, in India would not have to face an energy shortage. So if we shift to solar energy, we are definitely we will not face this energy shortage. Now we will see the push to other alternatives by government. In addition of solar energy, wind energy, tidal energy, biogas and nuclear energy are all visible alternatives to coal. The are really a visible alternatives because these are the only alternatives we can get of coal. The government should enact policies that encourage and promote such alternatives, and I think government is already promoting this. So it is really a good alternatives we can use in this coal crisis. So now it's time to conclude. So we will come to the conclusions. Now we all know that during the second wave of corona, India had really a boom demand of power and electricity as the company and factories are reopening, which resulting in power crisis. And we are already having a bad weather that impede coal mining and production, resulting in insufficient stock and exacerbating the issues, the reduction of consumption of power in a short-term options. However, long-term alternatives such as solar energy, wind energy, and so on may be beneficial if government approved them. We all want that government approve these things so that our coal crisis gets reduced. So guys, thank you for listening. I hopefully it will be benefit for you, and thank you for listening this.